Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Shall we start, Gaurav?
Yes, sir.
Right. So I can see
Good
here are,
evening, sir.
good evening. I can see 48 participants so far. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to this awareness series by JKP Care Foundation on now today's topic is positive reinforcement, effective ways to motivate your child with autism. So today's webinar, we are starting now. Any more participants to join, Gaurav?
Yes, sir.
It's already 7:02. Okay, let's start now. All right, so before we start, I have put up a message in the chat box. I am requesting everybody to kindly read it. For today's webinar, people who are attending it, we have a beautiful book on autism that is called Spectrum of Hope, a guide to understanding autism. We'll be sharing that book with all the people who have attended this program today, free of cost, absolutely free. So if you want that book, kindly mention your full name, your location, and your email address in the chat box. So the book shall be sent by the JKP team tomorrow to your email addresses, ebook copy. So I'm requesting all of you to kindly share your full name, your location, and the email address in the chat box. All right. Yes, thank you. Thank you for your inputs. One by one, kindly share your name, email address, and location in the chat box. So today the topic which has been given to me is positive reinforcement and some effective ways how to motivate our children who are with autism. Some of you might be parents here, some of you might be professionals from various backgrounds. So we will use a very simple language. I will try to avoid technical jargons or the terminologies, psychological terminologies. But however, if you don't understand anything or if you want me to elaborate some particular topic, please don't feel shy. You may unmute yourself and you may ask me to do so, or you may put it in the chat box also. So before we begin, we have 50 plus participants now. That's good. So I'll just start my screen sharing. Okay, so today's session is on positive reinforcement, effective ways to motivate your child with autism. I welcome all the dear participants today. This webinar is being conducted by an organization called JKP Care Foundation. JKP Care Foundation is a government registered non-profit organization which works for autism and special needs. My name is Dr. Alok Arora. I am a clinical psychologist and an autism specialist. I have done my MSc clinical psychology and PhD, and I'm the founder director of JKP Care Foundation. Today, let us discuss about the behavior, reinforcement, and effective ways of to motivate our children. So what all are we going to look into today is understanding behaviors in autism. Why do children with autism behave differently? How can we help shape positive behaviors? And overview of reinforcement and motivation techniques. Now, initially for 30, 35, 40 minutes, I'll just be presenting you the screen and I'll be talking. If you have questions, you may always put the questions in the chat box. And post completion of the presentation, we will take all the questions one by one. Start time has been given to this webinar 7 o'clock India time or other countries as per the country zone, time zone. But there is no end time to the program. Why that is so? Because I'll be available for you all as long as you have your questions. So question and answer session. Be prepared for it. If you have any queries, any questions, please put it up in the chat box and I will answer them one by one. Or in the question answer session, we may do the interaction and discussion as well. So understanding behavior in autism. First thing is, what is behavior? Behaviors are how individuals respond to their environment. In autism, behaviors may be a form of communication. So every behavior in autism tells us something. There is a misconception that sometimes parents come to me and say that suddenly child is showing this behavior. Please take this as key input that no behavior happens suddenly. There is always a trigger or a reason why this behavior is happening. And that is the form of communication. By showing a kind of behavior, say the meltdown, say screaming, spinning, child is trying to communicate something. Maybe child is verbal or non-verbal. And behavior, we all, not only children with autism, we all use behavior some or other time in our life as form of communication. Most of us use it on a daily basis. To look into some examples, before going to the children with autism or adults with autism, I would talk about all of us. Because in my opinion, autism is not a disease. Autism is not a disorder as well. My opinion is autism is just a difference. It is just a difference. And all of us have autism. The degree of autism varies. So when you meet somebody, when you wake up in the morning and say good morning to your family members or your flatmates, roommates, or the partners, and you have a smile on your face, that is also a form of communication. When you greet someone at your office or on the street while walking, passing by, that's also a form of communication. But when you don't greet someone where you are supposed to greet them or you are expected to greet them, is a behavior, and it is also a form of communication. For an example, you go to your office, you walk into your desk, and you do not greet your boss or your colleague or your friends. Whereas you were doing it every day morning. But suddenly one fine day you are not doing. So the absence of the behavior is also a message to your boss or colleague or friends that you are upset with something or you are disturbed or you are not happy to see them. Every day when you meet your neighbors, say hi in the balcony, in the passage, or in the building compound. But one fine day something happened and you meet your neighbors and you don't say hi to them. You're not talking to them. You're not responding to them. Or there is no warmth in your voice. That is also a communication. They automatically understand that you are disturbed. Maybe because of them or maybe because of something else. So by doing these small behaviors, when you are angry, your tone automatically goes high. When you are disturbed with something, you throw away things or you shout at your partner or you end up making more noises. That's also behavior and communication. So behavior is a form of communication for all of us. And children with autism use it more often than all. We all. Why do they use it more often? Because of their verbal communication concerns. Probably they are non-verbal or they are semi-verbal. They have difficulties in forming sentences, or because of they have difficulties in their cognition, or because they have difficulties in their sensory integration. So because of these reasons, children with autism, most of the time, use their behavior as a communication. So behavior is what? Behavior is how we respond to our environment. And behavior is very much sensitive to my environment. Not like what is environment here is, environment is not only the like the settings, physical settings where you are put up into, but also the people around you. Behavior of a child in a classroom, I'm talking about in general, any child in a classroom, is different when teacher is there and when teacher is not there. So behavior in presence of the teacher in the same physical setting, classroom, behavior in absence of the teacher in the same setting is different, isn't it? Behavior of an employee in the office is different when they are in a meeting with the boss and when they are in a casual talk with their own colleagues. So behavior is depending upon the environment. It is the response to the environment. Environment consists of physical settings and people around. When you go to the airport, your behavior is different. When you go to a shopping mall, your behavior is different. When you go to a cinema hall, your behavior is different. The moment you dress up to go to a wedding or a function or a celebration, right from the moment at home itself, physical setting is the same, however, behavior is different. So behavior is the response to the environment, and environment consists of two things, that is the people around us and the physical settings around us. So behavior of children, the way they are trying to communicate, can be different in a clinical setup, in a school, or at home. I hope I'm making it very clear. If you have questions, please keep putting them in the chat box. I'll answer them. People who have joined a little late, my message to them is that kindly put your name, your location, and email address in the chat box. We have a book on autism, Spectrum of Hope, Understanding to Autism, that we'll be sharing via email with you all tomorrow. That's the ebook which you all can print out or you all can read it online, I mean, on your tabs or computers digitally. So why do children with autism display unique behaviors? Now we understand behavior is the response to my environment. Environment is people around me and the physical settings I am in. And I'm trying to communicate. The behavior is a form of communication. Now, why do children with autism display unique behaviors? They have different behaviors than us, which they display. Reasons are difficulty in communication, limited verbal or non-verbal skills, sensory processing differences, over or under reactivity to sensory. Sometimes they are, most of the children with autism, not sometimes, a study says 96% children in autism, that makes it almost all, uh, show the sensory processing disorders sometime or the other at lifespan. So due to the over or under reactivity to sensory input, that time also they show some kind of behavior because they are not able to explain what is happening and they show it in form of communication, that is behavior. Need for predictability, preference for routine and sameness. Children and adults with autism, they prefer, we all know this, that they prefer same routine and some, their brain is registered to perform the tasks on a scheduled events. So because of the need of predictability, they show unique behaviors. Difficulty understanding social norms. They don't understand the physical settings or the people around them. Like I said, our behavior in the office, in the presence of our boss or the superior, is different than behavior in office with our colleagues. But children with autism, they find it difficult to understand those social norms. So how should we behave at the airport, or how should we behave at a mall, or how should we behave at a cinema hall while watching a movie? These are the various social norms which we have set up. But children with autism, they fail to understand that. So challenges with the interactions and expectations is also makes them to display some kind of unique behaviors. Now, which are the common behaviors in autism? Social and communication differences. We have divided them into few like 5 categories. Social and communication differences are difficulty understanding social cues, preferring routines and repetitive behaviors because they don't understand change in the environment, social cues, and they prefer the routine and repetitive behavior. Sensory processing issues, that hypersensitivity or hyposensitivity to sound, to touch, to light, etc. Repetitive behaviors, stimming, that is hand flapping, rocking, spinning objects, etc. Meltdown and tantrums. Differences, how to handle them. So some people say that in autism, it is not tantrum, it should be meltdown. Some of us say no tantrum. In my opinion, like other people, children with autism also have tantrums. Tantrums that we show in front of our parents, tantrums that we show in front of our close ones, where we know that they are going to fulfill our demands. So that is there everywhere. That is there in all the children, even in with autism. But sometimes it is not tantrum, it is meltdown. So we need to understand what is meltdown, what is tantrum, and what is the difference. To understand behavior and difficulties of behavior, we need to look into that also. And then all of this behavior ultimately results into social withdrawal. They prefer solitude, alone play, avoid eye contact. They don't want to mingle with other children. All these things happens because that's also a behavior. That is also a common behavior in children with autism. So let's look into, because I'm explaining one by one all terms, and then we will jump to our final topic of today. Because these are the foundation terms which you need to understand the reinforcement process. So what are tantrums and what are meltdowns and how to differentiate them? Tantrums are a goal-driven behavior used to gain attention or obtain a desired object, like a toy, candy, or screen time. We all have done tantrums many a times in our life. In early childhood, it is very, very common that when I want a toy, I want a candy, or I want to watch TV or mobile phone, or I want to play video game. Then that is my goal. That okay, I want the chocolate. What I do when you take me when I was a child, and when my parents used to take me to a grocery store, and there I decide, oh, I want that particular chocolate or that particular item, say candy. I would ask my parent, I would show it to them that I want this. Very first time, parent didn't listen to me because she or he was busy in their own shopping. I asked twice. They didn't listen to it. And then I showed some behavior. The behavior is I started screaming or I started crying. Then they tried to force me to take out of the shop. I showed a little bit more behavior, that I lie down at the floor, or I was like, doing hand flapping and misbehaving and crying, and was not, though the parent was pulling me out, but I was not ready to go out of the shop. Finally, to avoid that embarrassment, what parent did is they bought that chocolate and gave it. That's where it is registered in my mind, in my brain, that if I need a chocolate or if I need anything that I want and parent is saying no for it, or my mother or father is saying no for it, what I need to do, what behavior I need to show is I need to show tantrums. That is called tantrum, which is goal driven, purposely done. Tantrum is something which is goal driven, that I am going to achieve this thing by this behavior, and that is done purposely. There is a purpose, a desire for an object. Meltdown. What is meltdown now? A response to sensory overload, stress, or frustration, often beyond child's control. So, again, I'm a child with autism. My parents take me out to, uh, say, a cinema hall, and suddenly there is all dark in the hall, and they are playing some movie there. There's a lot of sound coming in, and it's all dark, and then those colors from the screen are reflecting on my face, to my eyes. That is sensory overload. I'm sensitive towards light. I'm sensitive towards sound, and I am put up in this environment for the first time. I do not know what has happened. I'm not understanding that there's a movie going on. So I suddenly start screaming. I start shouting, screaming, hand clapping, hitting my parents. That is self, to defend myself, to kind of cut off from that environment. I do this. And that is beyond my control. It's called meltdown. Similar is for the stress or for some sort of frustration. Other children are playing in the classroom in a very nice way, and I'm not able to play with them. I want to play with them, but I'm not able to participate with them because of my uh, condition of autism. I'm not able to relate to the game they are playing with. I'm not able to be part of it. And I feel stressed or frustrated. Then I show meltdown. To seek attention, I show meltdown. So tantrum is in child's control. Tantrum child is doing to obtain a desired goal. But meltdown is the response. It is very general response to sensory overload, stress, frustration. So understanding whether a child is experiencing a tantrum or a meltdown, it helps us to provide the right support. So first, whenever you see a behavior, you need to understand whether it is a tantrum or a meltdown. Once you segregate both, then you can easily manage that behavior. While tantrums require behavioral strategies, meltdowns require sensory, just a moment, and emotional regulation techniques. Now let us look into some of the examples to understand it better. Tantrum is wanting an object, attention, or escape from demand. And meltdown is sensory overload, stress, anxiety, or emotional dysregulation. Trigger. What are the triggers? In tantrum, I want an object, or I want your attention, or I want to escape from the work you have given me. I want to escape from this activity which you are doing it for last 20 minutes with me. Then I will show tantrum. But meltdown is you are doing some activity with me, and in that activity, there is a sensory overload, or there is some anxiety or stress, or emotional dysregulation. Then it is meltdown. Child has some control over the behavior in tantrum. It is child driven. It is purposefully done. But in meltdown, child loses control. It is involuntary response. Please understand. Sometimes parents come to me and say the child is doing it purposely. We need to draw a line whether it is purposely, willingly done, or it is involuntarily response. The moment you make the difference, you understand it's tantrum or meltdown. Most of us have both the situations in our life. I always say in autism, anything that applies to children or people with autism applies to us. That's why I call it not a disorder, not a disease. I call it a difference, just a difference. But all the principles, all the techniques will work on this in the same way on all of us, with autism, without autism, diagnosed with autism, no symptoms of autism, whatever you call it. So we have meltdowns in our life. When somebody very near and dear one passes away, when we witness a death in our close ones, is that a tantrum or meltdown? That's a meltdown. That's where we are stressed, emotional dysregulated, and that is not in our control. And that is why the behavior which you see in meltdown is very not controllable and not purposely done. But tantrum is when we need some object from someone, when we need some favor from someone, and we are purposely doing that behavior to gain the attention or to gain the support. That is tantrum. So tantrum, awareness of audience, if we see it, so tantrum occurs more when the audience is present, whereas meltdown happens regardless of the audience. So whether the audience is there or not, meltdown happens. Okay. Behavior type. What is the type of behavior? Screaming, crying, stomping, falling to the floor, throwing things. That is tantrum. shutting down, covering ears, rocking, self-harming, inconsolable distress is the meltdown. What does shutting down means is that I disconnect from when I have sensory overload. What I do, I shut down. And I do that. I'm talking about on me also in person. I do it. When I see like, okay, a lot of things are happening, a lot of concentration, classes, lectures, a lot more to study. What I do is I just shut down everything, take a break. That's shutting down. Children with autism often do shut down. They don't take interest in anything. Sometimes they need to be left alone at that time. So this is the behavior type differences in tantrum and meltdown. Now the duration. Tantrum stops when the child gets what they want or realizes they won't get it. The tantrum is like they will get the chocolate, tantrum stops. If we see the first example, which we were talking about, like a child going to a store and demanding for the candy or chocolate. So tantrum is the parent buys the chocolate and gives to the child, tantrum stops, or parent pulls out the child out from the grocery store and takes the child home. Half the way tantrum will stop because they realize now they will not get it. So there's no point in crying. But meltdown can last for a long time and it needs support and regulation to stop it. Most of us in children with autism make a mistake at the time of meltdown. We try to settle it down by giving commands, further commands. Meltdown, now you know it is already overload. It's already stress, already anxiety or emotional dysregulation. And now what you are trying to do is, don't do this. I told you not to do this. If you do this, I will not give you chocolate. I will not take you to for the game. You're giving further more stress, further more sensory overload, further more anxiety. So meltdown becomes more hyper. So that is not the right technique to stop meltdown. In meltdown, we need to provide support. Whereas in tantrum, you can always say this. You can always give further commands. But here we cannot give further commands. We need to just support and regularize them to stop. Respond to comforting. When you comfort a child in tantrum and meltdown, what is the response? Child may calm down if needs are met or distracted. Either the child gets his whatever he wants, or if child is distracted to something else, child will calm down. Again, you will see child very back to normal in few minutes. Whereas in meltdown, child may reject comfort. They may reject the way you are trying to comfort them or need a quiet environment to rest. They might need a different environment. You might have to put them up. Like in a cinema hall, you might have to take them out of the cinema to a different environment, which is more quieter, where sensory overload is less or stress is less, and they would take time to settle down. So how to handle tantrum and how to handle the meltdown. We will look on the next two slides on this, how to handle both of them. So in tantrum, stay calm and avoid giving in the demands. Stay calm. You don't have to shout. You don't have to be angry. Just politely tell to the child, no, this is not a demand. This is not the right demand, and I will not fulfill it. But stay calm. Even if child is crying, you don't start shouting at them. Set clear and consistent boundaries. Let child know this is your boundary. When you take the child to the grocery store, before taking itself, you inform to the child that you are going there at the grocery store. I am not going to buy the chocolate. So do not cry there. This is the boundary. You are not going to cross this boundary. Use positive reinforcement for appropriate behavior. If child is showing appropriate behavior, if child is going with you after setting the boundary, going with you to the grocery store and not asking for the chocolate or not demanding for it, and comes out with you very politely and very nicely without showing any tantrum, then you need to give positive reinforcement. This is where the reinforcement stops. So far, we have spoken about behavior, we have spoken about the meltdowns and tantrums and environment and a response to the communication behavior, behavioral communication. Now, here the reinforcement stops. So use positive reinforcement. I will discuss what is positive reinforcement in further slides. So use positive reinforcement for appropriate behavior. Teach communication alternatives like using words or visuals. If a child is having communication difficulty, then teach them alternatives. Though, okay, child is with autism, speech therapy is going on, we are sure or we are aware that, okay, child is learning 2 words, 3 words, and child will take time to pick up, maybe after a year, maybe after 6 months, after 3 months, child will start speaking. Fine. But what about today? I want child to be out of distress, out of the stress. So for that, what I need to do is give alternative, uh, communication techniques. So by using words or by using visuals, child can show it. That is how we handle tantrum. And during the tantrum, you can always give them commands, but you have to be polite and stay calm. You don't have to shout at them. That is not going to help you in long run. Shouting may help you, punishment may help you at one time, but not in the long run. Now, how to support a meltdown? Remove triggers. What are the triggers that you need to look at? If you are going to expose your child to a new environment, you should know what are going to be the triggers there, what kind of environment it is. So you need to prepare well in advance to avoid meltdowns, and need to look into the areas whether this environment, whether my child is prepared to be exposed to this environment or not. If child is not prepared, prepare the child. Doesn't mean that, okay, child is with autism and we will keep the child in the house or in the room because he gets triggered. No, we will prepare him to face the world. We will prepare him for the sensory overload. We'll prepare him for that anxiety which he is going to get there. It might take a time. It might take little time. Like if I need to take my child out, child who's with autism, I need to take him out for, say, for an outstation flight. What would I do? Through virtual reality, through audio visual support, I would try to, or through activities, I would try to list down all the um, things which he'll have to go through, like check-in, security check, sitting in the flight for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, putting on the seat belt, staying calm in the flight, and for all these, I'll break them in smallest things, and then I will show through the visual, through audio, and do some activities at home and prepare the child at least for 15 days or a month before exposing the child to the airport. And then you see how well your child will behave. We are trying this technique not only on children, but on adults. JKP Care Foundation is running a residential rehabilitation setup for adults with autism. And there we are trying the same techniques and it is working wonderfully. Last week, our children went from the city of Mumbai to city of Pune and participated in a marathon. So they traveled by, no special arrangements were made for them. They traveled by the local buses, local trains, and stayed in a normal hotel where other participants were put up. They ate in the restaurant and they ran in the marathon and they have won trophies. Just because of removing triggers from the environment. This is because of preparing them well in advance. For this marathon, we had started preparation before a month. And during that month, we exposed them to various kind of environments, which they were supposed to face at one series, at one go in this event, and success. So remove triggers, make a list of them, and try to look into how we can remove from the environment or how we can prepare our child for the environment. Offer sensory tools. So weighted blankets, fidget toys, noise cancellation headphones. These are some of the sensory tools. List is many, so we can offer them those sensory tools as well. Use calming techniques, deep pressure. So when your child is having a meltdown, just hug the child, give them deep pressure. Breathing exercises, teach them breathing exercises. and make predictable routines. So make routines predictable for them. Stay patient. Do not try to reason with the child in distress. Do not try to give commands. Don't do this. You promised me you will not do this. You are doing this. No, this is not allowed. All those sorts of commands should not be given. Or if you do this, if you behave like this, I will never take you out. I will not take you to the restaurant. I'll not give you your toy. No, don't sensory overload. Don't give lots of command at that time. If it is a meltdown, child needs your support. Doesn't need your command at that time in meltdown. Just needs your support. So I hope you all are clear now what is meltdown and how to support a child in meltdown. Why do these behaviors occur now? In autism, due to communication challenges, need for predictability and routine, sensory overload and under stimulation, and difficulty expressing emotions and needs. These are the major 4 reasons why such behaviors are occurring, be it tantrum, be it meltdown. Now, what is the reinforcement? Finally, the topic of today, what is reinforcement? Reinforcement, if I look into the definition, it's a method to encourage desired behaviors by providing rewards or consequences. It is to encourage a desired behavior by providing rewards or consequences. And reinforcement is of 2 types, positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. Many people misunderstand negative reinforcement with punishment, but it is negative reinforcement is not punishment. Let's look into it, what it is. But before looking into it, there is a term called operant conditioning. What is operant conditioning? It is a theory developed by B.F. Skinner in 1937, asserts that behavior is controlled by its consequences. Consequences include reinforcement, increasing a behavior, and punishment, decreasing a behavior. And we'll further see the sheet that will explore into the reinforcement. So here the term behavior is controlled by its consequences is very, very important. If you want to change a behavior, change the consequence. If the consequence is changed, behavior automatically changes. Either it increases or increases or decreases. So both the goal of the operant conditioning is both positive and negative reinforcement can be used to motivate kids. Both can be used. I have seen some of the professionals talking about negative reinforcement. It should not be done. It's the punishment for the child. I'm sorry, my friends, my understanding is a little different. And my understanding says that both positive and negative reinforcement can be used to motivate kids and promote desired behaviors. Understanding how to use reinforcement. So negative reinforcement is not punishment. Understanding how to use reinforcement to support healthy growth and development is the key. You need to understand how to use the reinforcement. That's the technique which you need to learn. Stimuli must only be added to subtract after the desired behavior is performed. Positive reinforcement and bribe. These are 2 different conditions. Negative reinforcement and punishment. These are also two different conditions. If you do this, I'll give you chocolate. That is bribe. That is not positive reinforcement. Most of the people understand reinforcement means we have to give some chocolate or some candy or chips, wafers to the child. That is not reinforcement. That is bribing. That you do my work, I'll give you this. That is bribing. Similarly, if you don't do my work, I'll hit you, I'll punish you, I will not give you food today, I'll not give you chocolate today. That is a punishment. So I'm sure you all know what is punishment and what is bribe. But now then what is reinforcement and what is positive and negative reinforcement? What are the differences? Let's look into it. So the misconceptions are negative reinforcement is often mistaken for punishment and positive reinforcement is often mistaken for bribe. If reinforcement is used correctly, neither of those are true. Punishment and bribery are both different than reinforcement, positive or negative. Let's look into positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. And this is the chart sheet we were talking about on the previous slide. So the positive reinforcement is a desired behavior leads to the addition of favorable stimulus. Example, a parent praises a child for finishing their homework well done. The behavior generates the addition of a favorable stimuli, praise. So for this praise, child feels motivated, and next time again, child wants to get that the same praise from you, and child does the homework on time. That is not a bribe. That is a praise. So here the favorable stimulus is the praise. Negative, a desired behavior. Rajni Chikra, please don't touch the screen. You are making some lines here. Rajni Chikara. Yeah. Just give me a moment. I'll have to reshare the slide because there are some lines on that. I'm requesting all the participants, please don't touch the screen because you may end up making some lines here. Okay. So, negative reinforcement. A desired behavior. I hope the screen is visible to all. Yeah. Okay. A desired behavior leads to the subtraction of an unfavorable stimulus. Example. Let's understand from the example. A teacher tells a hard-working class that they will not have homework over the weekend because they performed well during the school. So the subtraction of unfavorable stimulus. Homework is unfavorable stimulus for any student. Yay, we did so much. We have performed so good in the school in this week, so we don't have homework. That is negative reinforcement. So addition and subtraction of favorable stimuli or unfavorable stimuli is positive or negative reinforcement. You should learn how to use and when to use them. That is important. So children is happy in both reinforcement, positive also, negative also. Because here in the positive one, when the child did homework on time, child got praise from the parent. Well done. Here the class, when they behave very good in the entire school week, they were not given homework for that week, which every week they get that homework, but this weekend they didn't get the homework. So in both the situations, children were happy. Both the situation, it was reinforcement that they would like to repeat that behavior. Next week, again, children in the class would like to repeat the behavior. Next week, again, the child would like to finish the homework. So outcome of positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement is the repetition of the favorable behavior. The behavior which we want, we get it repeatedly from them. But it's just as the addition of favorable stimulus or subtraction of unfavorable stimulus is called positive and negative reinforcement. I hope I make it very clear. So the examples, if you have any questions, please keep putting them in the chat box. We are about to finish the slides and then we will take questions one by one. Examples. Examples are high five, praise, sticker, playground, break from the course. So positive reinforcement examples, we have given four of them here. High five, praise, giving a sticker to a child or taking the child to the playground. And then the negative reinforcement, break from the course, end a timeout, cessation of nagging, or reduced homework. These are for the negative reinforcement. How do we find out which reinforcement to give, when to give? Every child is different. Every human being is different. So not necessary that if you like chocolate, I will also like chocolate. Not necessary that if you like sweets, I will also like sweets. You may have a sweet tooth, but I do not like sweets. So my reinforcement would be different than your reinforcement, be it positive or negative. So you need to understand You need to collaborate with the kid. Collaboration, as in you need to understand, be with the kid, observe the kid, spend time with the kid to understand what are the stimuli for them. What are the stimuli? You need to make list of those stimuli and then use them in a positive way or negative way. Positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement. So every child is different. So each child will have their own reinforcements, which we need to look into. Examples, some examples of reinforcers now. Primary reinforcers are food, drink, sensory rewards, chocolates, candies, sweets, cake, pastries. These are your noodles. These are the primary reinforcers. Secondary reinforcers are praise. Well done. Very good. Wonderful. Toys. Activities. I'm taking you, you have performed very well this week. So I'm taking you out on Sunday to the garden or to a water park. And stickers. These are secondary reinforcers. Social reinforcers. Social reinforcers, clapping, high five, verbal encouragement. These all are social reinforcers. When people come at home, when we meet the guests, when we have the guest at home and we praise our child. Oh, he is doing wonderful. He has achieved first rank in the class in this exams. That is social reinforcement. Activity-based reinforcer, extra playtime. You will get extra playtime today because you have got 9 marks out of 10. So that is extra playtime you will get. Or you will get to play with your preferred game. Oh, you love video game? Today I'll give you a video game for 15 minutes because you have achieved this. So these are activity-based reinforcers. This list is not complete. You can make thousands and thousands of lists. I know that people here in this webinar currently are, I can see 94 participants, and most you are from various parts of the world. So depending upon the culture, depending upon the environment you are in, reinforcers for your children might be different. These are just a few. You can make list of reinforcers and use them wisely. Now let's look into how to effectively use positive reinforcement. Be immediate. Reinforce behavior right after it happens because you want that behavior to happen again and again and again. Then it should be immediate. If I have I have done my homework within 15 minutes, I was supposed to do it in 15 minutes. Every day I was doing in 20 minutes. Today I have finished my homework with the same quality, within the same time, or some activity which I was not doing before. Today I have done that activity as per the commands given. Immediately I should be given reinforcement. So you need to be prepared which reinforcement you are going to use for what, in what situation. Is it going to be praise? Is it going to be an item? Is it going to be some reinforcement which like a food item or a video game? But that should be immediate. So the child with autism relates with it that I did this good thing. That's why I have got this. That will prompt them to do better. Be specific. Clearly label the good behavior. Clearly label that you are given this candy today just because you have done your activity on time. That will motivate them to do their activities, other activities, or perform in other areas on time. And that, you need to label it clearly. They should understand and relate why reinforcer is being given today. Be consistent. Reward positive behaviors every time at first. Initially, you start, and whenever you see a positive behavior, reward them consistently. Use preferred rewards. Make sure the reward is motivating for the child. As I said, child does not like to eat cake and you are giving reward as cake or a pastry. Some of the children with autism who have Oreo sensitivity, they have concerns that they don't like to eat cakes and pastries and soggy items. They love crunchy food. So chips or wafers, a small quantity, 2 pieces of that would have done much better than giving a cake. So you need to use preferred rewards which your child prefers, which suits to them. Those. So this is how we can effectively use positive reinforcement. There are few mistakes which we need to avoid. I guess this is going to be our last two slides more. So few mistakes which we need to avoid while reinforcement. Giving rewards inconsistently. That we keep on giving rewards for every activity, the same reward every time. No. We all know that children with autism have concerns with their scheduling. Once you start doing this, then they will always expect it in every activity, in every environment. So what you need to do is keep changing the rewards. Today you say, well done. Tomorrow you give a chocolate. Day after tomorrow you give a star or a sticker. Not the same reinforcer to be used for the same behavior all the time. And then make them understand the rewards are not for every time. There might be situations and times when they are doing the behavior, but they are not getting that reward. So consistently, in continuation, same reward all the time, or every time giving the reward, both the conditions should be avoided. Overusing the same reinforcer, I've already said that, because that leads to reduced motivation. Forgetting to phase out reinforcement over time. You need to phase out reinforcement. Reinforcement is a technique to motivate them to do, but it is not, it should not be carried forever. Not considering the child preferences. You need to consider child preferences, then only this technique is going to work. Motivating children with autism. Find what interests the child. Observe their preferences. I always say, whenever you have a child with autism, you are a parent, you are a class teacher, or you are a therapist, or you are a doctor. First and foremost thing is make a list of the strengths and challenges of weaknesses, which you say, I say challenges. So strength and challenges of the child. So area of deficit, why that deficit is there, that is challenge. Definitely there is a challenge. And then what are my strengths? Every person has some or the other strength. So they might be like in ADHD, I say the strength is that they have lots of energy. You know, their arousal level for energy is very high. And that strength can be utilized to put them up in some sports or some situations where they can perform much better than others. So you need to find out these strengths and then the challenges. You need to know that. And then find out what interests my child. What are his preferences? What are his likings and dislikings? Use visual schedules and social stories that will motivate them. Encourage choice making. If my child is with autism, most of the time, many of the time, or always, I'm using all three terms, many are, most, always. In various situations, parents do that, but I don't give choices to my child. A child of 4 years who is not showing symptoms of autism, who is meeting the regular development, will have his choices. You will take him to the shoe store and ask him to try 10 shoes and which one you want to buy, which candy you want, which ice cream you want, or which t-shirt you want to wear today, which clothes you want to wear today. After taking baths, you give them choices. But do we give those choices to children with autism? I'm leaving you with this question. Do we give equal choices to children with autism? What we give to the other children? That's a question for my audience for today. Make a list of choices which are not given on a daily routine to a child with autism, whereas they are given to a child who is not showing any symptoms of autism. And start giving those choices. You will see wonderful development in your child. What if child is non-verbal? Child cannot express and say, you can put 2 t-shirts in front of him, a red and yellow, and ask him which one he wants to wear today. Let him choose. Just because child is with autism, child is with, cognition difficulties, or child is non-verbal or semi-verbal, we end up enforcing our choices on them. So give choices, encourage them for choice making. That will help to increase the processing speed of the brain. You know the communication, neuron communication in the brain that will motivate the neuron communication. And you will see lots of development within 3 months if you start giving them choices. You will see within first 3 months, lot of development in the child. For a simple activity, child is coming and telling you in verbal or non-verbal way, whatever way, child is expressing the need of drinking water. Now you give child water in two forms, 2 glasses. And you show to the child and say, you want to have warm water or cold water? Choice. Let the child touch it. Feel what is warm. Let the child taste it. The taste of warm water and taste of the cold water is different. And let the child drink that, whichever he wants. Again, for few days, you do this. Once child understands, it is helping him to increase his vocabulary. Though child is not able to speak, but he is listening. So he understands the difference between warm and cold. He understands the difference of taste of warm and cold. Similarly, after a few days, same activity, start giving child water in a glass or a cup. So child will feel the glass, child will feel the cup, child will hold the cup, understand how to hold a cup, how to hold a glass, what is the difference, and the vocabulary, what is cup and what is glass, would be added in his dictionary. So this is how you will help him for the processing, because he is forced to think and give a reply or make a choice, whether he is not able to reply to you, but forced to make a choice. Forced, not by pressure, by giving an option. So encourage child in choice making. That will help a lot. That's my promise to you. Gradually increase expectations. Start with small achievements and build up. On day one, do not expect that child with autism will do everything which the other child is. All children are different. They have their own developmental age. They have their own pace of learning and developing. So your child has his own frequencies. Let him go with that frequencies. You can just help him and support him, but by keeping minimum expectations, breaking the expectations. I want my child to not to ask me every time for water, because child is at the age of 5 years now. I want him to go to the fridge, open the fridge, take the bottle out, pour the water in a glass and drink on his own. Because child is 5 years. What will I do? I will teach him today to come with me, open the fridge, take the bottle out, open the lid, close the lid, pour the water, drink the water. I will teach him that in one day? No. I will break this task. What I want to teach to my child, to drink water from the fridge. I'll break this. What all activities are there? For a few days, I will teach him just to open and close the bottle. Depending upon child's condition, depending upon his learning curve. For a few days, I will teach him just to open the fridge and close the fridge. For a few days, I'll teach him to hold the glass and I will pour the water and make him have that, understand how much pressure he needs to put when glass is empty, glass is half full, glass is full. And after a month, my child will be in situation to drink water on his own from the fridge. And on every achievement, the day he is pouring the water, I will give reinforcement. I'll give, say, a candy or appreciation, or I will inform social appreciation in front of others. I will say, oh, today he poured the water from the bottle on his own. So gradually increase expectation, gradually increase the difficulty level. Start from the zero difficulty. That will give confidence to child. Do not assume, this my child knows. Do not assume. Even if he knows it, start from there. Even if you know that child knows it, but start from there, because if you start from there, child gains the confidence and connects you. It's like child is at, like if I rate development from 0 to 10, child is at 0, 1 or 2. And where you want him to be? On 10. Now imagine there is a staircase. 1, 2 steps are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You are standing on the 10th staircase. Child is at the second or third or first stair, or even at 0 0 step. Now continuously from 10 or 9, you are pulling the child up. Come up, come up. You are pulling it. There's a tension. You know, there's a rope which you have given to the child and you're holding and you're pulling, pulling, pulling. That's all. That's what we are doing. And then in return, child gets tensed and child is worried. How will I climb up so much? And you get lots of meltdowns and lot of tantrums and concerns. Rather, how would it be that you go down to step 0 or step 1 or 2? If the child is at step 3, take the child to step 0. You also go down to 0. Hold the hand and climb 0 to 3 together. Child will do it easily because child is already at step 3. So child will say, it's so simple. I mean, I can do it. Wow. And then gradually, one by one step, the confidence has come. Once the confidence has come in child, he will climb till 10 step with you because you are supporting the child. So he knows you have holded the hand, but 0 to 3, he already knew, but he tried with you again, holding the hand. And then 4, 5, 6, 7 would be very, very easy. That's my message to you all today. I will end my slide here. So today what we have learned is autism behaviors occur due to communication, sensory, and routine related challenges. Reinforcement is an effective method of to shape positive behaviors. Positive reinforcement encourages motivation and learning, and understanding and adapting to each child needs is crucial. I wish you all the best with this talk, and I'm ending my slideshow here. Now the forum is open for questions. Let me look into the questions which are there on the screen. There are many. Wow, great. I'll go one by one. People who are getting late may quit also, but I will not end before I answer all my questions. I've kept the whole evening free for this webinar today. So I appreciate of you all being here. Thank you so much from various parts of the world. And let me answer your questions. I'm just reading the chats. I can see people from Mauritius, from Philippines, from various parts of India, Manipur, Guwahati, I can see Zimbabwe. Okay, UAE, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all for taking out time and being here with me. Okay, I can see first question here, Rajeshwari, at 7:16 on my watch. So if there is any other question before, if I missed out, Gaurav, please let me know. But I'm starting with this question. My baby boy is 4 years old and he is not responding to see a picture like in a flashcard or in books, but interested in writing. Also, how to identify a special talent of autism child. Rajeshwari, to identify, there is no special talent in every child. Like all of us do not have special talent. Some of us have special talents. Some of us are very good painters. Some of us are very good at mimicry. Some of us are very good at numbers, but not that all have special talent. So this is a misconception that all autism child have special talent. Some children have special talent. They will show with their own journey, you will come to know. But to understand your child, as I mentioned already, Rajeshwari, strength and challenges, that chart you need to prepare minutely. Observe your child, ask your family members to contribute to it, and make a list of, you need to write down, pen down. Because when you pen down, then you relate with it. So you need to write down what are the strengths of my child and what are the challenges he's facing. Once you write down this, you will automatically align with your child more and understand your child. Understanding your child is the key. Now, my baby boy is 4 years old. He is not responding to see a picture like a flashcard or in books, but interested in writing. Okay. So he is interested in writing, but not responding to a flashcard or a picture in book. Hold his hand and start drawing pictures with him because he is interested in writing. Use different colors and color those pictures. automatically he will start relating with the flashcards. Keep patience, Rajeshwari. Child is just 4 years old. So sometimes, we want the child to grow very fast, but child will learn in his own path. You need to break down the tasks very small, into small tasks. As I gave you the example of taking the water out from the fridge. Similarly, drawing a picture, coloring a picture, holding a pen, holding a brush will also take time. So you need to break one thing at a day and then give reinforcement. That will help you. I hope I have answered your question, Rajeshwari. If you're there, you can unmute and speak. Okay, till the time I'm going to the other question. Inspired me. Somebody by name Inspired Me has given a suggestion, sir. Open one WhatsApp group for this team for further webinar and programs. Managing WhatsApp group becomes a little challenging, but yes, there is a registration link of the webinar. If I think most of you have registered for that, we have a link on our website. I'm putting that link again in the chat box. If somebody has not done, registered your name and email address and phone number of that on that link, just go to this www.jkp.ngo/register. On this page, I have given that page in the chat box. On this page, you will get register now button. You just have to go there and put your details, nothing else. And in future, whenever the webinars are happening, you will get the information, pre-information from us via email and via WhatsApp, and you may join them. All right, thank you.
Sorry, sir. Can I ask one question, please, sir? One autistic
Yes.
child is coming to me and he is an average IQ. So it is possible that the child has average IQ, and with this IQ, he can move on with a good academic record. But there are some autistic features symptoms are there in that child.
Ma'am, I do not relate IQ in autism.
Okay.
IQ in
So that,
autism, I do not relate. Okay, so
that's
these are
why I'm
two
asking
different
a
things.
question, sir.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I have a separate webinar. I will share the recording of that also, which is in detail about relationship between IQ and autism. So in autism,
Okay.
IQ can be very less or IQ can be very high as. A child with
Okay.
autism might have IQ of 55, or child with autism might have IQ of 150. Okay.
Because he has an average IQ, so academics are very fine. And
Yeah. So
academically, he
in
is doing
autism,
best.
yeah. So in autism,
Ji,
we need to work on the symptoms, current symptoms and concerns which child is facing, strength and challenges. We need to play with them. Work on the challenge area, but hold the strengths.
sure, sir, sure. Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you.
By working on IQ, what I believe is most of the children who come to me or the parent who come to me, I ask them not to do the IQ test. Only for a reason. Once you know that child has average IQ or lesser IQ, you preset your mind. Okay, child's potential is less.
Sure,
Right?
sure, sir. Okay.
We preset it in our mind. Oh, his IQ is 55, his IQ is 60. He cannot do more than that. Whereas he could have learned more, but our learning becomes limited for our teaching becomes limited for the child. So I prefer not to test IQ in the cases of autism.
Okay, okay, sure, sure. Thank you so much, sir.
Right, ma'am. Okay, I'm looking for the other question. Okay, I can see other question. Arpita has asked a question at 7:46 in my watch on the chat box. Though this is out of the topic, sir, can you please give me example of positive and negative reinforcement in OCD? Arpita, surely we can work on it separately. This is not the topic here. And I am not an expert on OCD, so I will also have to a little bit read more about it. You may connect with me. I'm putting my contact number in the WhatsApp group. You may save it and connect with me. I will definitely work. I will connect with the experts of the field and get back to you on this, or I'll connect you with them and they can answer your question better. I have given my the contact number, the WhatsApp number I have mentioned. So you may connect with me, Arpita, and I'll connect with you to the right professional, or I'll find an answer and I'll share it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right, then comes 7:56. Okay. It's a little confusing to look into all the chats. Next time, I would request any of the moderators from JKP team to kindly follow and the chat records and share it. Okay. Then I have Humira Bularam. Question is, hello doctor, can meltdowns also can occur in typically developing children? Yes. Anything that occurs in autism occurs in all of us. I started my talk with this. Probably you joined a little late, I guess, that behavior is like the techniques or the principles of behavior are same for autism or for other people. And we all have autism somewhere or the other in us. It's just that the degree is different and it's not diagnosed because it's such a minute degree that it is not diagnosed. But meltdowns, I gave an example as well. When somebody passes away, some death happens, we all face meltdowns. We all do tantrums. So do we deal with them in the same way? Yes, we need to deal with them in the same way. There is no different techniques to deal with tantrums and meltdowns. We can deal with them in the same way. And reinforcement is applicable for all, the technique of reinforcement. Next, we go for the question from Ikra. A client X has have crying behavior on a thing that they want. When he sees something that is interested for him, he fixes on that thing and lots of crying for that situation. Now, what to do in this situation? I'll give him things in the circle time. He needs their interested activity also in circle time. Client X is non-verbal. Ikra, I'm not very clear with the question. If you can unmute and ask, it will be more easy for me to understand the situation. Crying behavior on anything that they want is part of tantrum. I want something, I start crying. And that has been registered in my mind that if I cry, I will get the thing which I want. Okay. And when he sees something that is interested, he fixes on that. That is very common in autism. That fixation of with the toys or fixation with the items is very, very common. And we cry for it. Okay. Now what to do in this situation? I'll give him the thing in their circle time. Yes, you are doing the right that you are giving things to them in circle time. You teach them the turn taking. You teach them first and later concept. So once you do this activity, make if just make a list of those items which the child is interested into and make them as reinforcer. So if he cries for it, make him understand you will get that by after doing this activity. First thing is very small activity. Just say hi, give high five, and you get this. Then a little difficult level. For a few days on hi-fi, instead of crying on hi-fi, because it has been registered. Because at initial levels of development, when he wanted something, he didn't know how to express because child is non-verbal here. So he cried. He cried and he got it. So now brain has registered this. It has been it's a common response. Child is not purposely doing it. It's child has learned that response only that if I need something, I need to show a crying behavior. Now you need to break that. So for breaking that, you just give him high five. And on high five, you give him that. For a few days, even if the child is not asking for it, not crying for it, ask the child to do high five and give him that. So child will deregister the crying behavior and register, if I need this thing, I need to give high five and I get this. And then from high five, you slowly take it to the difficult activities and use it as a positive reinforcement. I hope I have understood your question and answered it well. Ikra, if you're there, you can unmute. I guess you're not there now. Okay, Arpita, how long should we continue to give rewards, sir? That depends on child to child, and difficulty level of activity and rewards should decrease. Throughout life, we can keep on giving rewards. We give rewards to ourselves. On my birthday, I will buy this. When I achieve this, I will do this. All these rewards we do. But frequency is not on a daily basis or not on every activity, right? So you have to take wise decisions as per the development of the child. You need to stop giving them slowly, not even in a single day. Slowly reduce the frequency and intensity of the reward. Frequency and intensity both have to be reduced with time, not overnight. What if he starts the same behavior which he uses to behave earlier because of not getting rewards in future? If that happens, that means we have not used rewards as a positive reinforcement. That means we have used rewards as uh, bribe. So we discussed in the session today what is bribe and what is reward, what is reinforcement. So if you use it as a bribe, then definitely, or use it as a punishment, then definitely when punishment is not there, when bribe is not there, child will show the same behavior. But if you are using it as reinforcers, then child will not show it or show the same behavior uh, even after reinforcement is taken up. That's the thin line between reinforcer and bribe and punishment. Okay. Dr. Samruti Pradhan, a 4-year-old with moderate autism who has started therapy with our center from last week. This week, he is cooperating in sessions and following commands, but after going home, he has meltdowns. What should be home remedies? First of all, you need to look into, Dr. Pradhan, the environment. Child is doing therapies in your environment, which is a structured environment. So environment consists of two things, which we have already discussed, is the people and physical settings. So physical settings are different, people are different at your clinic. Whereas at home, people are different and physical settings are different. Now, home, you cannot give the same physical settings which you are giving here. You cannot send your therapist to home, so you cannot make it the same physical set, same like people setting also there. Now, what you can do is screen the environment. Send your therapist for one day for that child's home and do the screening of the environment. What could be the possible reason for meltdown in that environment? Probably if child is living with the grandparents or with the joint family where cousins and other children are there or other family members are there, child might be, there are chances that child is getting ignored. The mother or the father are involved with other activities or with parents, whereas child is getting attention here in the thing. So that could be one of the reasons. Maybe there is some more sound in the environment. Maybe there are more lights in the environment. So you need to look into each part. What is different in that environment which might be bothering to my child? And need to work on that. Family education plays very, very important role into it. So counseling of the people who are living under the same roof about autism, what autism is very, very important. Just by training parent, we are not going to achieve success until we train or educate the immediate family members who are living under the same roof or who are often visiting the house. Because sometimes their ignorance, sometimes misattention from the mother or the parent can also be the cause of this pain. And then generalization. Generalization is very, very important for any therapy center, which most of us are not doing in India, which I have been visiting various therapy centers. So I do not know about your center, ma'am, you are doing it or not, but generalization is very important and is the key in autism. The therapies which you are giving at the center, once the child is settled and once you see child has done tick, 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 these tasks, these things child is good at, teach the parent. Let the parent take the child to home, to a mall or to a garden, depending upon the therapy, depending upon the activities, or to a shopping place or to a playground and do those activities, do the practice of those activities in the journal, in various physical settings with various people. Now, only because child registers this, that, okay, I'm supposed to, in this environment, the moment I enter into the clinical setup with this ma'am, say with Dr. Samruti Pradhan, I'm supposed to behave like this. But I'm supposed to behave the same way with others. That I don't learn until I start behaving the same way with others. So I need to involve the parent, both of them, one by one, and take the child to the therapy center. Once the child is settled, once you see child has done tick, 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 these things child is good at, teach the parent. Let the parent take the child to home, to a mall or to a garden, depending upon the therapy, and do the activity, same activity. So activity will remain same. Sometimes physical environment will change, sometimes people environment will change. You need to change that, play with them several times. Then the child will not show these kind of meltdowns. I hope I have answered your question, Dr. Smriti Pradhan.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Sir, I thought that because he's not able to express and communicate, because he's feeling restricted in the sessions, maybe because of that, he's going home and he's comfortable showing tantrums to the grandparents or the mother. That is why he's behaving like this. Because he's very much restricted and he's not able to show actually what he's feeling when he is at the center, and he is forced to, I mean, mentally he is in a new environment and he's forced to follow what we are making him do. So that is why he's uh, um, trying to control his emotions and then going home and then showing everything. That is what I thinking. That
No,
is.
but here, Dr. Smriti Pradhan, here, the technique which we use at our clinics is first 5 minutes of the therapy and last 5 minutes of the therapy is whatever child wants to do, we allow him to do that.
Right, sir.
So we give him, the moment child comes in, walks in, we do whatever child is doing and we imitate him. We follow him. Let him connect with us and feel that I am the same. Like the steps, I was giving the example of climbing up the steps. So I go down to step 0 with the child. Whatever he is
Right,
doing,
sir.
I imitate. He's going up 1 step, 2 step. I'm going up 1 step, 2 step with him. And then I do the training. And at the end also, I give him free space, free time, 5 minutes to release out his emotions. So I think if you are doing that, then this could not be the reason.
Okay, sir.
And here in autism, what we need to do is we need to try various techniques because each child is different. And we don't have one concrete answer for one question. We have for one question, we may have 10 different answers. We need to try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, tick, tick, tick until we reach the right. Even if we reach the right one, we need to try the other 3 as well because there might be combinations as well. So this could be a combination of what I am saying. Together, both the situation might also be there. So make the possible list of answers, try all of them, and then whatever fits best, 1, 2, 3, multiple answers might also fit best, try to correct them.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the insightful session.
Where are you based, if I may know?
The Belgaum, Karnataka.
Yes.
Sir, I had mentioned to you small miracles last time also.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm really sorry. I missed it, but it's welcome.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Rohit Kumar, a client having behavior self-slap while most of the time good command, but when class off, she is crying at home. So self-slap is probably the behavior. You need to go back and dig into the history with the parent when this self-slap started. Was the child given slap several times for a behavior which he or she is not expected to do? Because sometimes children register in their mind that if I have done something wrong, mama will slap me or papa will slap me, and they start slapping themselves. So if that is the situation, you need to interview the parents and dig into the developmental history, what all has happened. Then probably you will reach to the answer why child is doing self-slap. That could be one of the reason I have given you. There could be another reason that when child wants to withdraw and child doesn't want to do something, then he is slapping himself. So try to implement various techniques, a multiple of techniques. One is parent interview, then you will understand this behavior more. And second is be observant with the child. And when child is slapping, just before that, what has happened? What is the trigger or what is the antecedent? What has triggered self-slap that you need to look into? And what the child has received by doing self-slap? What is the child has achieved? Sorry, that is consequence. So we say this as ABC analysis generally. For any behavior which we are not able to understand, we do ABC analysis. ABC is antecedent, behavior, and consequences. So behavior we keep in the middle. We minutely look into the multiple events of that behavior. Like I will do the observation of the child of self-slap. for in a continuation for 10 days at least. So multiple time of behavior is the same behavior, same physical setting, same people setting. So people setting, I'm not going to change. Physical setting, I'm not going to change. So with the same person, therapist, in the same clinic, in the same room, at the same time, in the same class, or same this what do you say session, 10 days, I will observe the child on self-behavior. When the child is doing self-behavior, what has happened just before that? And after self-behaving, what was our reaction, the person's reaction who was dealing with the child? Or what did child achieve? Some children will do self slap just because they want your attention. Some children will do self slap just because they want you to laugh at them. So you do not know why this is coming. So you need to do the ABC analysis of this behavior. We have already done a webinar on that. Probably we will repeat that also sometime in detail, what ABC analysis is all about and how to do it. So if you know about it, Rohit Kumar, you may learn it. If you may practice that, or you may, connect with me. I'll inform you whenever I'm doing another talk on ABC analysis, because itself is a big topic and it will take at least an hour to discuss it. But for such behavior, ABC analysis will help you fantastically well, as per my experience. Next question I have from Battu Prasanthi. Regards choice, generally they have a compulsion or they want that one particular thing each and every time. Is this correct? Sir, can you please give me some more explanation on this? Prasanthi, if you are there, can you please unmute and explain the question once again? Yes, I can see you're there.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
My question was like choice came regarding the clothes. We have to put two clothes so that they can choose of their own choice. But as per my understanding, that they fix to one. They want every day, every time the same thing. Is that correct?
But you don't give
to my
same options
understanding?
every day. You don't
Okay.
give same options the every day, no? Then only child will learn to choose.
Okay, okay. I want some
Okay.
clarity on this one.
Yeah.
So
It's a
now
very
I
valid
got it
point.
correctly.
Very valid point, because children with autism, they have some
Yes.
preferences and they are, rigid to their own preferences. That's why I'm
Yes.
saying give them options so that generalization will come there.
Right, right.
So
Thank you.
one day you give them, say for same example, if we go with t-shirt, one day you give two t-shirts. One is the child always prefers, one child does not prefer. Okay. Second day you give same, third day you give same. All 3 days child will choose, say, red and yellow. Child is choosing red one. Okay. Fourth day you add blue into it. So make 3. Do not subtract red. Make 3 choices. And from 3, let him choose red. No problem. Another 3 days, he's choosing red from 3. Then 5th day, add blue. So from 4, child is making choices. Chances are in these 1 week time, 5-6 days time, child will shift from red to some other. But still, if child is not shifting, the day you have 5 choices or 4 choices, enough of options, that day you remove the red one and then give the options, and then you see the reaction.
Right, sir. I got
Try
it
that,
right.
it will work. Okay. Yeah. Okay, next, does heavy metal detox really increase the chance of speaking? Heavy metal detox has definitely concerns on behavior, and chance of speaking, it increases or not, that I'm not very sure about it. A speech and language pathologist can answer this better, because I do not know. With behavior, it has the correlation, but with speech, it has a correlation or not, I'm not sure. Okay. Sangeeta says, there are people from Nepal also. Sorry, Sangeeta, I forgot to name Nepal in the list. Whatever I was seeing on the screen, I was just naming that. Chats are too much. So I'm sorry for that. Gaurav, if you are there, have you taken down? I'm sure you have taken down all the email addresses. I'm
Yes,
requesting.
sir.
Yeah, so I'm requesting once again the participant who have not mentioned your email addresses here. We are collecting your email addresses because we want to know who all have attended the webinar And we have a book which is written by me on autism in a very simple language. I've tried to use no technical jargons, very simple words I've tried to use. And the book is called Spectrum of Hope, Understanding Towards Autism. So I wish to share that a copy of that ebook with you all via email. That's the reason I'm asking you to just put your name, your location, and email address in the chat box. So Gaurav is copying all those email addresses, and tomorrow he will send the book to you all, which might be beneficial to you. You may circulate it with your friends and known circle as well. Okay. Next is, what is the best way of calming down a child with tantrums? I'm Dorothy from Zimbabwe. Hi, Dorothy. The best way of calming down a child with tantrums. Now, you need not to calm down a child with tantrums. First thing is that calm down a child with meltdowns. A child with tantrums needs to be taught the other ways to express his or her demands. So you need to, the best way is you be strict with them. If it is tantrum, remember, tantrum and meltdown are two different situations. We have discussed in this. Gaurav, may I request you to share this recording also, today's webinar recording also, with all the participants who have attended, because some of them joined a little late and some of them might like to repeat the session. So if you can create a link and share the link with all of them via email.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, if it is tantrum, first thing is be sure it is tantrum, Dorothy. It is not meltdown. Once you are sure it is tantrum, it is not meltdown, you don't have to calm him down. You need to teach them alternate ways of expressing their need, but that too not at the time of tantrum. At the time of tantrum, the best strategy is ignore the tantrum. That is the best strategy at the time. Okay, next is hello, doctor. My child speak need based on, okay, many other things like for apple. Apple means save. He can tell in Hindi and English both, and likewise till numbers, alphabets, colors. But it's only he wants, but not in a proper language. What can be done? Now, not in a proper language, you mean to say he's not forming the sentences and he's just speaking, it's just need-based speech has come, then it's a process. Now the need base has come, single words have come. It will slowly go to double words or the sentences. I'm sure speech and language therapy is going on, and the speech pathology will pathologist will do the miracle. Need not to worry about it. It's good that at least need-based communication has come and child is speaking. That is like at least the child is able to express his needs. Now, point is that we need to put the child onto two words, then three words, sentences, and then WH questions. That's the process. It takes a little time. So speech and language pathologist will help you. Okay, Bernali Sarma. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing the name. I can read it as Bernali Sarma. My student is 7 years old. She is a bit disabled and she can't walk properly. But in studies, she's good in remembering and understanding things, but she speaks out only when with specific people. How to cure the problem? Generalization is the answer. This is not a problem. This is you need to understand that the child is just 7 years and the child might have some reservations because of being a bit disabled, uh, you know, and not speaking out to many people. Child has always been put up in an environment where child needs are being fulfilled just by speaking to a couple of people. So when the needs are being fulfilled then and there, then I don't need to speak with others. So you need to create opportunities where child has to speak with other people to fulfill his or her needs. If you want to discuss it more in detail, Bernali, you may connect with me on WhatsApp and I will understand the current situation and the environment and give you options how you can create the need. You need to create need in the because child is able to talk properly and good in remembering and understanding. It might be sort of hesitation, it might be sort of registration in brain that I'm supposed to speak with only these people. So all those things we need to eliminate one by creating opportunities for the child to speak with others. How to create those opportunities? We need to put the child in some situations where child needs are there and child has to communicate. And it should not be a punishment. It should not be by force. It should be by giving some entertainment in the whole episode. So we will discuss in detail. If you want to try that, and this will definitely overcome. Need not to worry about it. You can connect with me. I've already shared my contact number in the chat box. You may take it down and connect on WhatsApp. Teju, my 9-year son is suddenly started waking up in morning. In my night started crying and wanted to go outside. How can I deal with him? Now, this behavior has started, like as you mentioned, suddenly. So it has started recently, I would say. That child wakes up in middle of the night and wants to go out and cries. You need to do the environmental analysis. What is there in environment which is bothering the child? If child was not doing this before and now it has started, so definitely there is something in the environment which is bothering the child. Maybe the ventilation, maybe the darkness, maybe the sound. Uh, zero sound is also concern for sensory processing disorder children. So if child goes out, what you need to compare where out you are taking the child, what all child is getting in that environment, what all child is getting in home environment, and what is the difference in that environment. You need to list down everything. And then one by one, expose the child with those things. In the same environment, in the home environment itself, give some sound input one night, give some light input one night, give some ventilation. So maybe the AC temperature, maybe the cooling. What is different? What is it? Kind of motivating him to wake up and go out. Trust me, Teju, human being is the laziest animal on this earth. Laziest. I will not do a thing without a reason. We can see animals do things. I'm talking about behavior angle. Please don't take me mistake me with this that I'm talking about your child, Teju. I'm talking in general. We see animals, horses, dogs, cats running here and there, sitting here, getting up, running there, sitting there for reasons, for without any reasons, without reasons. But human being will not do any behavior without a reason. For every behavior, there is a reason. We just need to, kind of look deep into the environmental analysis. And environmental analysis, when I say, it makes people and physical, both environments, and understand what is different and why child wants to go from this environment to that environment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, all right. Still, if you face difficulty, please connect with me.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. I have got from Kishar Parvez. Please add me to your WhatsApp group. Kishwar Parvez, I have given the link already, and Gaurav will also send you the link. You please register on that link. If you have already registered, need not to do it again. That is a register-free link on our website. Your name and number gets registered there, and then we send you invites of the future webinars. Sir, may we get the recording of this webinar? Yes, Pallavi, I have already answered it. I have already requested Gaurav to share the recording via email. Please do share your email addresses. I'm repeating, who have not shared, please share your name, your location, and email address in the chat box. That's all. Okay, sir, please, can we get the recording of this webinar? Fola Sade Mercy, nutritionist from Nigeria. Okay, Falasadi. Welcome from Nigeria. And surely the recording will be shared with you. Please share your email address. 8-year Samsung, somebody's with name Samsung writes, 8 years old child with autism keeps throwing things like crayons or toys around during therapy or at home for no reason. What can we do to help? There is a reason. Child likes to throw things. So replace the things. Teach him the behavior. If he wants to throw, give him some things which he can throw, which are similar like crayons or toys. Give him some things which he can throw. Make small soft toys, take small soft toys, and with time, reduce the size. Then give them cotton to throw. Initially start with the same heavy soft toys, which he is doing right now. Instead of toys, all toys, soft toys. Then reduce the size of soft toy so that the weight becomes less, but the throwing need is completed. And then the cotton, weight is more or less, or paper balls, weight is more or less. Teach the child you can throw. Because child is throwing things, you want to stop throwing. But if you say, don't throw, child will not understand this. Say you can throw, but give option. Throw this, not this. Will be easier for you. And when child learns to throw this, not this, then later on, slowly, you reduce the weight of that item, reduce the size, child will stop throwing. Slowly come to the rubber bands. Child will throw the rubber bands, nothing else. So child needs to understand that, okay, I want to throw. Because I always do in my therapies and like in my approaches, do whatever you want. I'll support you. I'll do the same. I'll repeat. You want to throw a pen? I will also throw a pen. You want to throw a crayon? I'll also throw a crayon. But slowly, I will change my crayon to a toy, teddy bear, small one. Automatically, child will imitate. First, I imitate the child for few events. Then child will start imitating. Then it is easy for me to make the child do things what I want, because I will do that behavior, child will automatically imitate my behavior. So if you teach the child imitation behavior by imitating the child, first you need to imitate, then automatically you can teach any behavior to the child. So that's how we develop the connection with the child. Suggest few home-based activity tips to reduce hyperactivity. There is no activity tip to reduce hyperactivity. We need to understand, Rajeshwari, why hyperactivity is coming. Trigger. For every hyperactivity, there is a trigger. If you don't let the trigger happen, automatically hyperactivity is not there. I knew that in this webinar, I might have to speak for 2 hours today. So I kept a glass of water and a bottle of water with me. Now, in between of my talk, I'm drinking water. There will be no hyperactive behavior after finishing this session, that I will rush to the kitchen and take the water out, or I'll scream on like my home help or somebody in my family that give me a glass of water, I'm thirsty. That hyperactive behavior. Oh, I'm thirsty, I'm tired, don't talk to me. I've spoken for 2 hours, I'm exhausted. That behavior will not come automatically, because trigger of that behavior after this session would have been tiredness because of the thirst. Now I'm fulfilling the need well on small intervals in between the session itself. So I'll be as fresh as I'm like I was before the session. So you understand, need to work on the hyperactivity, why hyperactivity is coming. If we give the solution of that, we don't allow that trigger to come, automatically hyperactivity. Junita Hart, yes, you may ask your question in live. Please unmute yourself. Unmute and ask your question, Junita.
Good afternoon, Doctor. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Doctor, our 17-year-old son was as recently as last week diagnosed with autism. I think my husband is also on this webinar from his place of work, and everything is new to us. We hear terms for the first time. Doctor describes him as high-functioning autism. He attends a I don't know which. He attends a school where the other children are not diagnosed with autism. How do we as parents inform his principal or teacher as to where he is at right now? Thank you.
All right, so Janita, since the child is 17 years old, we might have to use some techniques differently, and I need to understand the real challenges, because with this age, we have teenage challenges, hormonal challenges, and we need to discuss in detail about it. I would request you to connect with me on one-to-one. I will understand the case history, and then probably we can discuss more about the child.
Thank you very much. I'll contact you on WhatsApp
Okay,
together with my husband.
Yeah. Yes. Please contact with me through WhatsApp, and then I'll send you the requisitions, what all I need to understand, and then we'll take it further. Where are you from?
We are from Cape Town, South Africa.
Okay, South Africa. All right. People who are from Mauritius, I want to make an announcement that from 5th of March to 11th of March, I'm in Mauritius. So if somebody wants to meet in person, also you may connect with. Sure, Janita. We will connect through WhatsApp, and I will first understand the child more before commenting on the situation, right? Okay.
Thank you very much. We appreciate.
Thank you. Okay, Kishwar Parvez. Sir, my 20-year-old son frequently displays scapegoat behavior, avoidance, and behavior escaping behavior. It's a very common behavior. When I don't like something, I want to escape from it. When I don't like something, I want to escape from it. When I'm tired of doing something, I want to escape from it. When I'm willing to do something else, then I want to avoid this. I'm willing to watch TV. I want to avoid studies. So strength and weakness analysis, and whatever you want to do with your child, whatever activity, whatever training you want to do, always work with the strength. Don't work with the weakness. Kishwar Parveez, we make the big mistake, most of us. I have done that in my earlier years with autism. When I was new to handling autism, I have also done that mistake that we list down. You know, when a parent comes to us for a assessment after being diagnosed, for a behavioral assessment, we list down where all my child is weak. Parent will also give all the complaints. Parent will never say what my child does, parent, what my child enjoys, what my child's strengths are. Parent will also always say, oh, he's not doing this, I want him to do this, other children are doing this, he is not learning it, he's weak in maths, he's weak in this, he is not eating on his own, he's shouting, he is hyper. Parent will say this. And I will also list down all. When I will, like a blind person, I will start working on those goals. Like, okay, weakness, hyperactivity, this, that, I need to work on them. But now with experience of over 2 decades now, I have learned this, that I don't have to worry about weaknesses. I don't have to worry about the challenges. I have to worry about the strength. Hold any one strength and then work on the weakness. Keep the child its strength involved in your therapies, in your trainings. Automatically, child will feel interested. If I'm physically weak, I will definitely avoid playing cricket. But if I'm physically weak, so that is my weakness. I may enjoy working on chess. So you play chess with me, but within chess, if you have to give me physical exercises, while playing chess, you give me those physical exercises to do. That okay, indoor game, we are playing indoor game, but every like one block I move ahead and I stand up and jump, or I do a little bit of Zumba, or I do a little bit of physical exercise. Instead of me being physically weak and you put me to the playground. That okay, exercise, physical exercise is must for you. You are physically weak, you need to have strength in your muscles, so you need to do physical exercise, and you're putting me in the playground. Don't do that. I will definitely like to avoid it. But when you see my strength is in indoor game or some uh, game like Ludo or game like chess, involve me into it, but add the angle of my exercise into it. I'm not saying that don't work on weakness. I am saying hold the thread of strength and then climb weakness slowly. But strength is to be holded, to keep the strength, keep the interest of the child. I hope I have answered your question. Okay, next is Nida Tasneen. Sir, one of my student has a behavior of crying for escape on provide worksheet, and if we put the escape on extension, he tries to bite and have maladaptive behavior. Okay. If we allow the break or cool down time, won't the behavior be reinforced and he would always want to repeat it? What could be the possible intervention? Now, why, Anida, I want to understand why the child has this behavior of crying for escape of providing worksheet. Nida, you are there?
Hello, sir. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for such an amazing lecture.
thank you. Yes.
Sir, we are doing academics with him, and every time a worksheet is provided, he doesn't like to do, and he wants to escape from the task. If we keep allowing him to, have a cool down time, or providing him breaks, then won't that behavior be reinforced?
Break, no, that will behavior will not be reinforced if you keep on start from the zero worksheet. You give him very simple worksheet initially and increase the difficulty level with time. Break times, give more time initially and slowly reduce the break time also. So you need to work on this, that the breaks, frequency of the break, time of the break, duration, frequency, that has to be decreased with time, and same time the difficulty level of the worksheet has to be increased. Do not give the entire worksheet at one. Sometimes children looking at so much to do also get sensory overload or fear of sensory overload. Not sensory overload, but fear of it. Oh God, I have to do so much in a day. If I have to do now, today was the day when I was totally free the entire day. I didn't work at all. And I knew that I have to do this webinar at 7 o'clock Indian time. So I'm taking so much of interest. If I was doing, I was told in the morning that I have 5 webinars in the series. By this time, I would not have been interested. I would have been trying to escape of these questions. Okay, send me the question, I will answer, and all those would have been my, outcomes. Or right in the morning itself, my first webinar itself, oh, I have so much to do today. You know that feeling. So you need to give the worksheet in a simpler form. Give small one worksheet sheet break into 4. Add reinforce. Reinforcement should always not be break. Sometimes break, sometimes wow, sometimes good, sometimes a sticker or a star mark, and sometimes a candy. Whichever works best, make a list of 3, 4 reinforcements, and those 4 you play with them. Do not give the same reinforcement every time. Increase the duration, decrease the duration of the break and frequency of the reinforcement. That will work.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
DRA plus escape on extension is being followed. Okay. Um, yes, yes. Any other question we have? Okay, Clara Brito. Clara is from Goa, mother of Daniel. Are you there? I can see Clara Brito. If you're listening to me, please unmute yourself. Are you Daniel's mother? I just want to check that.
Yes, I'm
Okay,
Daniel's mother.
Oh, hi. Nice meeting you. Nice meeting you.
Hi,
So
doctor.
let me
Oh,
introduce
wow, that's
Clara to you
nice.
all.
Very informative. This thing. I wish I could know some of the strategies before. So handling Daniel will have been better. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Okay. So
Very
I
nice.
wish to introduce Clara as I'm surprised to see you here. Clara is mother of Daniel. Daniel is an inmate with us at Spandan, and he is doing wonderful. He is showing
Thank you. Thank
so
you.
much
I
of
saw on the
improvement.
photo.
You are seeing that, right? Within, and he has
Yes,
been to
yes.
that. I was giving example of that marathon and all.
Yeah,
He
I
has
heard. I heard. I heard. I heard. Yes.
actively,
I heard.
yeah. So he has actively participated in that marathon also. I'm very happy
Well,
with the
that's
performance.
nice. That's nice. Saw him
Yeah.
today gardening and putting water for the plants and all that. It's very happy to
Yes.
see him. Yes. Lot of change with his weight also. Wow, great. Like, how, thank you so much, doctor. I have nothing to say, but just say thank you. Really, you're really wonderful. And yeah, really thank you. Thank you for
Thank
looking
you,
forward
Clara.
to
Thank you
meet
for
you
your
ahead.
trust in us, Clara. Thank you for your
Yes,
trust in
yes,
us.
yes,
Because
yes,
it's the parent trust which makes wonders.
yes. I know,
Okay,
I know.
but
And the
Prasant,
staff, they are really, really nice, taking care, so much of care. Really, I'm at peace. Believe me, I'm at peace. Yes,
thank you
really
so
nice.
much. Thank you. Do
Yes.
visit. I think you are coming
Looking
in
forward
April
to
to
see.
visit us.
Yes, I'm looking
Most
forward to meeting.
sure.
Yes.
All
Thank you,
right.
doctor.
So, Battu Prasanthi, thank you, sir. The session was informative and valuable. Thank you. Thank you very much, Battu, for your appreciation. That motivates me to do more. Okay, how can Hasina? Hasina Rosebully. how can we actually diagnose if a child of 2 years is autistic or not? Okay. Diagnosis should be done by a trained and licensed professional. And there are the various types of testings and for the diagnosis of autism. And it should not be done by any parent or therapist because chances of this diagnosis are very high. So you need to always look into a trained, licensed, and experienced professional. Nowadays, a lot of cases of virtual autism are also coming. So we need to, there is a very thin line between virtual autism and autism, that is classic autism, which we talk about. So I always say that diagnosis is very, very important, should be done by the licensed professionals. But in case if you are in a location where diagnosis is not happening or it's taking time or you are not, because I see in many of the countries in Europe, especially in the UK, you have long queues and you get the appointment after 3 months, 4 months, 5 months for the diagnosis. But if you are seeing, you need to be observant for your child. And if you are seeing the symptoms of autism, need not to worry. For a therapist also, need not to worry about the diagnosis. Just start working on symptoms. Do not label the child that child is with autism. But symptoms are there, concerns are there. So again, strength, weaknesses, analysis, check with the developmental milestone, which all milestone child is missing or where the deficit is. Start working on them. There is no harm in that. Providing support. Whether the child is with autism or not, that will come to know later. But if child is missing some developmental milestone at the age of 2, let us work with the child and provide support. That should be the first key. And second is diagnosis. Yet yes, it helps us to understand the child a little better and to predict a few situation scenarios and make the therapy goals better. So diagnosis can be done by a trained clinical psychologist. I can do it, or anybody in your area. It's better, 2 years old child. So it's better that the person meets the child and meets the parents both in the diagnosis. And only one parent. If you are a single parent taking care of the child alone, then it's a different key. But if you both the parents are taking care of the child, then both the parents or caregivers or family member, if a grandmother is taking care of the child, even if you have a caretaker, a nanny or a maid or a support staff at home who's looking after the child, if you're a working mother, working father, then that person should also be available at the diagnosis time. So in my clinic, when I used to do a diagnosis, I used to call everyone who's living under the same roof, or I'll go to your place or you come, let everybody be there, because inputs from each person is very, very important in diagnosis. There is no blood test for autism. There is no MRI for autism. There is no brain mapping for autism. There is no any, scientific medical system we have to diagnose autism. We have various sets of questionnaires. It's based upon the observation of the child or an adult and based upon the interview of the parents and caregiver. With the questions we answer and we understand that we reach to a conclusion, child is with autism or not. And those question sets, we call it tools. So autism diagnosis tools. There are many of them for observation, for suspicion, for diagnosis, DSM-5, ESA, and we use MCHAT and CARS. There are many of them. But depending upon the location the person is, the environment, that also makes different, and age, that is also different. So it should be done by a trained professional and experienced one. That is always better. All right, somebody has returned. Pinky, welcome to Mauritius. Thank you, Pinky. Thank you. I'll be there. I'll connect with you all there. Anshika Suri is also from Mauritius. Can a child become Vanisha? Okay, Vanisha Mulato. Can a child become autism due to mobile phone despite being normal? Yes, yes, there are chances. That is called screen media. And that's where we diagnose virtual autism. It's not called classic autism or the autism. It is called virtual autism. It's not only the mobile phone. Mobile phone, it is basically the one-way communication, I call it. Screen media or the electronic gadgets or toys, or child is left alone at the early developmental years. So one-way communication. Child is not able to communicate. See, on an average, a child of 3 years asks you not less than 100 questions in a day. And each answer you give to the child, it gets registered in the brain. And that is the foundation of brain's neuron communication. Now, what happens is generally when the child is born with a set number of neurons. Say for an example, 100,000 neurons. I'm just giving you an example. It's just a fake figure to make you understand. So suppose the child is born with 100,000 neurons in the brain. At the adulthood, number of neurons are the same. At the death, in the old age, numbers of neurons are the same. So numbers of neurons do not increase. What increases in the brain is the connections of those neurons, the communication connections. And how do they increase is from the inputs which we receive from the outer world. What I see, what I listen, what I talk, whatever is input is coming to me, based upon what I question on basis of on the response of those questions, those inputs make my brain to register the foundation. Now, if you are exposing the child in early developmental years too much to mobile phone or to the screen media, to gadgets, electronic toys or gadgets, where child is not communicating with you, child is not asking questions to the mobile phone. It is just one-way communication. Whatever is being shown, child is registering. But what about the questions? What about the cognition development, processing in the brain? Because he asked one question, we answer, the another question, we answer, the third question, we answer. Simple, simple questions. Where are we going? Why are we going? Why are we going in our car? Why uncle is not coming with us? Why our car color is red? Why my friend's father's car color is blue? All these questions children ask us. But sometimes we do this mistake also, that if a child is asking too many questions, we say, don't ask, keep shut, don't speak for some time. No, we should never do that. Because these are questions are the foundation which they are constructing in the neuron communication. So by mobile phone or screen media, or even if you leave, you don't give mobile phone, but you leave the child with books only in the house for 8 hours a day in early developmental years, I'm telling you, the child at the age of 5 or 6 years, you will start seeing the autism symptoms. So it's not only the mobile phone. Understand what it is. It is the, one-way communication. Whether it is coming from books, whether it is coming from the phone or TV or video game, it's one-way communication which is responsible for virtual autism. I hope I've answered your question, Vanisha. But the good part is virtual autism is reversible. Recovery is very fast in virtual autism. We need to do the corrections in the environment and provide the input support, which is missing. Okay, Pinky. Hi, I am Mrs. Makona, nursing officer from Mauritius. Kindly send me the recording. Thank you for insightful information. I'm sure Mauritian parent having child with autism will surely benefit. Sure. Will share the recording, Mrs. Makona. Thank you so much. Ankita's iPhone. Hi, sir. Does all level of autistic children, mild, moderate, severe, require same level of therapy? I don't get into mild, moderate, or severe. It doesn't bother me whether child is mild, moderate, or severe. It's just labeling the child. As I answered before, IQ is labeling the child. What will I do by knowing the child has 55 IQ or 60 IQ or 120 IQ or 100 IQ? It will limit my teaching. Similarly, if I understand child is on severe autism, I will say, oh, nothing can happen. I can teach him this much only because child is on severe autism. No, therapist will also say, usually say to the parent that, no, we can't do much. Your child is on severe autism, so much recovery is not possible. Whereas much recovery is possible. We are seeing it, we are seeing it in a child who is, the diagnosis which I have with me is child is 16 years. Diagnosis is autism, severe autism with MR condition. 75% of mental retardation. When child was brought to me, his name is Fabian at my therapy unit. in Spandan. When child was brought to us, situation was very different. It's been almost a year, and now child is very, very different. Very different. So even if child is severe on autism, even if you are labeling him less IQ, 0 IQ, MR, how do we label MR is through IQ? So even if you are labeling the child on basis of the IQ, I say right techniques, right therapy makes wonders. So therapy levels for each child is different. Your question here, Ankita, is that whether the therapy levels are different or same for mild, moderate, or severe. I say even if there are 100 children or 10 children of mild even, within mild 10 children also therapy levels would be different. So we need to plan therapies, child-centric therapies based upon child's strength and challenges. We need to plan the therapies. There is a different style of learning for each therapy, each child. We need to understand. And never say that child cannot learn. Always say that I cannot teach. I do not know how to teach to this child. Once you say this, you will automatically learn to teach to this child. Instead of saying, no, your child cannot learn. Child can always learn. Not from you, then somebody else. Not to you, Ankita, in person, I'm talking in general. If a child cannot learn from me, child can learn from someone else. It means someone else is making wonder. I'm not able to make wonder. That means there is something wrong in my teaching, my therapy. So I need to mold my therapy for this child as per the way he learns. So let us teach the children the way they learn. If they don't learn the way we teach, so if the child is not learning the way I am teaching, let us teach the child the way child wants to learn. Okay. At the time of therapy also, can a child get sensory issue? Most of the time. If a child has sensory processing disorder, yes, sensory issues are there. What is sensory issue? Too much of information, which brain is not able to process. Right now also, you all are sitting here. They were nearly 94 when I saw the last, and now I'm seeing 39. Most of them have some other work, they have left and all, fine. But people who are sitting here, you are concentrating on my talk. We are listening, we are talking, but same time, you have something else on the background. Fan noise or AC noise or some lights or somebody is at the door, somebody is coming and going, or there is, if your house is close to some traffic road, so you might be getting some from the window, you might be getting some sound, traffic sound or some, or if you are in some jungle area or the area near to the nature, you might get birds chirping sound. All that information which you are not concentrating on is also getting registered in your brain, knowingly or unknowingly. Ears are listening to that information and processing that information and filtering out what is the most important at this time. I'm devoting time for this webinar. So this is important. So you are realizing only this webinar noise, but other all noises are getting saved in your memory, but they are as good as not existing for you, but they exist and your brain is processing them. Now, what happens during time of therapy? Child who has sensory processing disorder, he is getting all those noises from the therapy center. Other child, other children, clinic, lights, other botherations, everything is bothering him. And during the therapy also, he is not able to concentrate because he has sensory processing disorder. You don't have sensory processing disorder. That's why you are concentrating here. But that child who has SPD, sensory processing disorder, is not able to concentrate in the therapy because of all that external noises or lights or sensory inputs. Could be any, even the smell, could be any sensory. Does primitive reflex help erase out autism symptoms? Nothing helps erase out autism symptoms. Nothing helps erase out. Sorry. I have read it wrong. Ankita, pardon me. You have written ease out. Yes, you are right. I read it erase. That's why I just said nothing. But yes, primitive reflex helps ease out autism symptoms. I'm really sorry. I misread it. Okay. So yes, primitive reflex helps a lot in easing out the symptoms. Yes. Thank you, Hasina and Shraddha. Thank you, Dr. Alok, for posting yet another awareness webinar. Thank you, Shraddha Vasnet. Thank you very much. Any other question, or we may end for the day? Any other question, or we may end for the day?
Yeah. Can you please expound on the primitive reflex. What does primitive reflex mean?
See, it is the area of the occupational therapist. So they work on the primitive reflexes, sometimes the physical therapist, because in India, primitive reflex is different than, occupation therapist and physiotherapist roles are divided and they work in the different positions. But in most of the other countries, they are called physical therapists, who are physiotherapists or occupational therapists who work on the primitive reflexes. These are the automatic movements that are present in form of, like at the time of birth, when baby is making those movements. Right from that time, if you touch the baby, or if you give the bottle, so they will open the mouth. If you do this, they will react to it. So these are called primitive reflexes. But to know more in detail, since it is not my area, the therapies, primitive reflex therapies, I think we need to discuss with a physical therapist. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, if you want me to put you to Dr. Kanan Doshi, who can answer she's on my panel, so she can answer your question better, I can connect you. I think, Bobby, you are in some of the training programs. You are there, right?
Yes. I joined Dr. Kanan's program recently. The one on sensory integration.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. So she is the best person to answer your question indeed.
Yes, thank you,
because
sir.
I'm also
thank you,
not.
Dr.
I know that primitive reflexive therapy helps children, but I'm not very much in detail. I do not know how this therapy is done. Okay. So please put up this question to her. She will be happy to answer.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right. Any other question? Any advice we can give to parents whose child have autism meltdowns or tantrums in public places like malls, etc.? Should they remove the child from that environment? No, Pinky, no. You don't have to remove the child. You need to prepare the child for that environment. Before exposing the child to a new environment, we need to prepare the child. During the session, I gave an example of taking a child to an airport or flying to another city or another country, how to prepare. So similarly, if you're taking the child to a mall or to a public place or a bus, city bus somewhere, you need to create, nowadays VR, virtual reality is also helping into it through visuals, through photographs, and try to give some kind of input also, sensory input also at home. Like go in the traffic, record the traffic sound, come back home and talk to the child, tell him that don't take the child in the first go. You come back, talk to the child, while in your general therapies, general talks, general play that sound in background on a smaller noise, little bigger. In 3-4 days time, you will see child will adjust to that sound. That is the major issue a child faces when a hypersensitive child towards auditory hypersensitivity goes to a public place. They are not able to tolerate that sensory input, auditory sensory. So for that, if you start giving that environment at home for a few days before exposing, like this, you need to do the analysis of the environment where you want to take the child out, what all changes would be there, which your child is not comfortable with. One by one, expose the child to all of those, and then take the child out. Then you see that child will be comfortable. Child will not show meltdown there. In the public places, children will not show tantrums if they are taught not to show tantrums. Tantrums is totally different, but meltdowns, autism meltdowns, yes, you need to prepare them for the end. Okay, Pinky? All right, so the time is 9:15. We had a wonderful session with lovely audience. I'm so happy. Thank you for being patient and listening to me for this long. And you all will receive a feedback link for this webinar. Kindly rate us, feedback us. That motivates us a lot to do more. And with this, I would end today's session. Wish you all the best. And do connect with me if you have any concerns, anywhere you feel I can support you. JKP Care Foundation, the entire team, and I am personally, Dr. Alok Arora, all are available to support all the autism parents and professionals. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Really a lovely
Thank you,
session.
doctor.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Well done. Good night, sir.
Good night. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.